Hello and welcome to Onesies, a podcast of one season wonders and blunders. My name's Andrew,
My name is Emily.
and we are sadly, toward the end of our Joe's Life season, the 1993 Peter Honorati career killer co-starring.
He's still working.
Did he have a regular? Did he run a show after this?
I have no idea.
No, he did not. Refer to episode 1.
Hi, Kitty, who doesn't like me.
Gregory likes everybody, including you.
Okay,
Gregory.
Shaz is the other one. Yeah.
Yeah, if Shaz was doing this right now, it would mean she was dying and we would have to stop recording. Shaz, oh, look, Gregory's going to bump into the microphone for an hour.
Aw, cute.
All right. Wow, this is great. Okay, so anyway, ABC sitcom 1993. This is the Thanksgiving episode entitled
Oh shit. Parental guidance not suggested? ? Clever.
Okay. Now, this is not the worst episode.
No, it's not
It
the
is
worst.
not the best episode. It has many of the traditional problems, but it does not make some of the other problems it could.
Yeah.
So there is that going for it. Do you have 3 things, or since we forgot them last week, we should have to do 6, but
no, I'm not doing 6. I'm going to talk about single versus married. I'm going to talk about theater concerns. And I'm going to talk about James Marsden.
Special guest star James Marsden. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to talk about fake movies. I'm going to have to talk about bad supporting cast subplots. And I'm going to talk about, I don't know.
Looks like you're getting cleaned.
I'm getting cleaned. It's very hard to think. This is not comfortable at all. Thank you, Kat. Home shopping, or do I want to dedicate a moment to the opening guest star?
I don't know. There's a whole subplot that I think we're both avoiding. Maybe rightly so. The bar.
It's Joe's Life. We have to go. No, that was my unfortunate supporting cast subplots.
Okay. That was so bad.
Mimi Kennedy is not magic is point 2, actually.
Okay.
Supporting cast subplots, aka Mimi Kennedy is not, turns out, actually magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll do I don't care for my family, so you're stuck.
Okay, so you're gonna get the rest of the subplots.
Yes, we are gonna cover all
3. Or is it 3 plots? Thanks. No, 4, because there's 4. Ray's got his own.
Ray's got his own, and then opening guy is like a cold open subplot, like that wraps up
instantly.
Yes. Oh God, no! He killed them, and it's all their dream. I'm recutting Joe's life. I'm marathon recutting Joe's life. It's worth it if I can do it.
I thought the same thing. I was like, oh my God, he's gonna kill everybody. This is gonna be so great. We're gonna watch a massacre.
If there's footage in the next episode to recut this into something about them all being murdered at Thanksgiving and Joe's life being the dream of Scotty Jean before his rat tail and head get decapitated and then eaten like Temple of Doom, I will do it. The show's not bad enough that I'll learn CGI to do it, but if there's available footage, I will do it. Okay. So, in other words, there is some horrendous shit we get to talk about, even though a plot is strangely not. It might be okay for teenage girls to have lustful thoughts, is all I'm going to say. It's 1993. It might not mean that we burn them alive.
Are you sure you should be saying that as a man, as a grown adult man?
I think I have to, because that's accurate and true, and they're none of anybody's fucking business. But also, we do need to acknowledge that people have said say to this day that is incredibly wrong. So it's okay for a 15-year-old girl to want someone to kiss her with her enthusiastic consent.
As a former 15-year-old girl, I will agree that it is okay.
The rest of the episode's got a lot of bullshit we're going to get through first, though, folks. Okay. So
we start out in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay, it's a bit with Stan and Barb, and here's where we learn actually what Mimi Kennedy's kryptonite is. It's George DeCenzo, because she is paired with him for all the comedy beats the whole time, and he basically sticks a needle in her and pulls her. He energy vampires her.
Yeah.
He is Colin Robinson.
Yeah.
Okay. They come in and they're like, oh, thank God the Thanksgiving buffet's almost over. Those slobs and pigs can go home. Waka waka.
Waka waka. That's literally the joke.
That's the joke.
Well, no, the joke is set up in a way that they're being pleasant to people as they're leaving, and then they turn around when the door closes and they're talking shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't write it down, but I thought, like, God, this is a despicable character. Mimi Kennedy is a despicable character.
Yeah, and that's what we learn later on, too, is that she's just, it's not, like, she's a narcissist.
And she's smarmy, and she can pull off comedy beats, but it's just like...
We've never seen her in this context. Like, they've never had the character do all, like... be actually responsible for anybody else's well-being.
Yeah.
And then we get to this thing where we find out that she regularly manipulates the kids, especially Scotty Jean with his fucking rat tail.
I will say a good thing about this episode is there's very few boys. The boys are
upstairs watching the Twilight. Polly's watching the Twilight Zone. And Scotty Jean's only in the one scene before Barb gaslights him and sends him away. So that's cool. But yeah, so we quickly then go to them talking about the traditional Gennaro family Thanksgiving. Is this a real-time Thanksgiving episode a la Roseanne, a la probably Family Ties once, a la The Bear, or The Bear was Christmas? Emily will watch The Bear in 15 years and acknowledge that it was great. So you're going to have to.
Everybody tells me it's great. Why do I have to experience it?
Because it's... Okay, Emily, you still haven't watched Thief, as I believe is correct.
Oh, no, that movie?
That movie that is Drive, but good, like actually good?
I love Drive.
Okay, what if Drive were... All right. Okay, moving on. The Bear is an editor's show. The second season is there's an episode that is edited to the Tangerine Dream score of Thief about someone learning their self-worth and acknowledging and showing themselves grace and understanding like how to process some of their like the trauma they experience and cause.
That's cool.
Next season on Tuesdays, we'll be watching The Bear.
Oh, so it's not getting renewed. Oh, no.
Oh, it did, but the writer's strike is going to fucking kill it because...
The writer's strike is going to kill a lot, but...
The writer's strike is going to kill everything good, folks, just so you know.
But that's okay because they deserve to make a living wage.
They deserve to make a living wage, and we deserve to... Warner Brothers should go out of business.
And AI, I don't think, could write stories that are heartfelt, like you were talking about that episode of The Bear. I don't think that AI can come up with something like that.
And this is totally off topic, but we have reached a point where my big example is Beyonce's Lemonade. You watch that and you're like, oh, so everybody can edit as well as The Thin Red Line was edited. Everybody can be Terrence Malick for 45 minutes. Also, Janelle Monáe's movie was better, but Lemonade's still great. But the other one was, so good. But that's like where we're at. And AIs can duplicate that shit, but AI can't make anything new. It can just regurgitate. And that's going to be a talent. There is going to be really well AI implemented stuff. But
it has to go into the bowl of options rather than be the only option.
Right.
Yeah.
You have AI do a montage that does that. It's going to be natural language processing. People are going to start saying, do it with a shot of Peter Honorati for 5 seconds, then a shot of Mary Page Keller. And it's going to be stuff like that. There's going to be terrible shit on the way to that, but that's basically where we're going to get. Because if computers ever, Skyneted, they would just kill us. Because, I would. So, yeah. So we talk at length about how I want when we push
every
the button
show we
kill,
watch, we want to kill everybody.
Yeah, when we push the button to kill all the white men, I get to at least go towards the end, so I get to watch the other ones go. Okay, back to the show about white men. Yes, so they're going to go to Peter Honorati's. They're going to go to Joe's for Thanksgiving.
Yes.
They're bringing the leftovers from the restaurant. So there's nobody making another Thanksgiving dinner. So we're not getting that episode. There's a slightly funny thing, though, fucking A, in the context of the Scotty Jean scene, it's not funny, where Leo comes in and says the car is packed for a week, and Barb's like, good, so I won't see you for a week. Zing! We hate Leo, but also zing, Barb did that to him intentionally from birth.
But also, isn't Leo talking about all the Thanksgiving supplies that he has, including a turkey and the vegetables and everything, But if they're taking the leftovers home, why do they need all that stuff? One. And number two, how do they have time to cook a turkey if they've been at work all day? And it's 5 o'clock.
They got a turkey from work. No. They're taking the buffet food.
Oh, he's got all. Okay,
he's packed the buffet food.
No, okay.
So then they're gonna head out. Time to close. They got rid of those last suckers. Joe talks about the traditional Gennaro Thanksgiving. Oh, that's how we got off. We started talking about better shows that have Thanksgiving episodes. Okay, so but then we hear that the traditional Gennaro Thanksgiving is they're going to eat. And then they're going to watch the game. And at halftime, they're going to play Name That Belch.
That's Mimi Kennedy's little joke. It was not
about
very
the
funny.
Boys. Not very funny, but also seems like it could be what we're in for.
Yeah.
Okay. Then they talk to Ray about what he's doing. Is he going out with Denise?
Mm-hmm.
And Ray says, oh no, this is after we have the bit with the old man and
the asparagus cranberry loaf or whatever.
Yeah, that the old man makes fun of, and Ray's like, I've got 12 more. But
put a pin in that, folks, because that cranberry asparagus loaf will come back.
Now, if we were actually, threading this out, this would actually just be plot B.
Yeah.
Because plot A is Thanksgiving. Now plot B is going to be the cranberry loaf. So there you go. Just make your wacky board. Okay. So they talk about Denise, who I don't know if we've heard her name before, but
I don't think so. And this gets to they have this conversation about how they broke up. I almost said they got divorced. They broke up. They, something about how he wanted to take it slow and she wanted to break up. There was some gag there, whatever, not important. And then he's like, I'm going to go to Thanksgiving singles event at some place, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to be reeling it in. And then he's like, oh God, I'm going to die alone. Because if you're not married, you're not happy.
Yeah, it's very...
So what struck me was that we have the juxtaposition between this youngish, attractive guy, single, going out, looking for a good time in a good way. I hope he has not showed himself to be a perv yet. And then all these married people who seem to hate each other.
Yeah.
Except when Joe and what's her name want to get it on. That's like all they do.
Pin in that, because we're going to establish that there are things that Joe really does not like about Sandy.
So that just struck me. So that was my first point.
Okay.
The singles versus married. It's like everybody's miserable. So what does it matter?
Exactly. speaking of misery, in comes, well, let's just say a Wally Shaw looking fellow.
Oh, he's taller
Oh,
than
come
Wally.
on.
He's taller than Wally and has more hair.
Okay. Guest star Robert Schimmel. Robert Schimmel, who was a comic in some way, and he wrote comedy. He auditioned for George. He told Larry David the script was not funny.
Ooh,
He
yikes.
served in the Air Force until he got Hep C through a blood transfusion.
Ooh, is this real? Are you
I'm reading it off of IMDb.
Okay.
He beat one of his wives. Fuck this guy. Okay. So
he was on Dr.
Wow,
Kat's
all right.
professional therapist, but he beat his wife. Okay. That's
beat
not
his wife, and he died in a car accident. So
Okay,
was he
well.
beating one of his wives at the time? Okay, moving on. So he comes in and he's like, I want my fucking buffet. They're like, we're closed, dummy. And he's like, I've got your flyer right here. It says you're open from 12 to 5. And I'm like, so this is a subplot about them telling this guy to get the fuck out? Nope.
Nope.
He's like, I'm here to collect on my meal.
So instead of serving him, we cut to Joe's kitchen and food is being passed around and he takes another slice of pie. They have invited him home for Thanksgiving dinner.
For Thanksgiving. Cut. We haven't gotten to the credits yet. We've got enough plot for 2 episodes probably. But we've at least got our plot and subplot, right?
Yeah. I love torturing you. This is so
Joe's Life is a show about everything. So before we cut to the credits, guest star piece of shit says, can I please have some decaf? Can you serve me now, Sandy? And Joe's like, oh. And then the guy's like, all my therapists warn me not to have stimulants. And it's like, he's got lots of therapists. And here's what I forgot. Pre-Disney, I think ABC was known for like making fun of Jewish stereotypes.
Yeah, so this would
this would fit. And I think that was kind of one of their things is like there was this, because like Fox, still Family Guy is still on Fox, so it still does stereotype humor.
Yeah.
But like there was a hierarchy of TV networks pre-Fox where it was like CBS would never go near this. NBC maybe would maybe do it, but ABC was still in that zone because they had shitty comics like fucking Tim Allen.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we cut back from after our commercial break to the end of this subplot.
Yeah.
I've got to go. Thanks for, you guys let a complete stranger share your Thanksgiving. To which they're like, it was our pleasure. And then he's like, I could have been an axe murderer. What the fuck is wrong with you people? Don't you love these kids?
And both you and I came to the same conclusion independently that wouldn't it be great if he had actually turned around and then struck them all with an axe?
That would have been a baller move. Anyway, no, he's going to leave. And then they don't even establish if he paid for an all-you-can-eat buffet. Like, they could have actually done this longer and better, and they did not. Yeah. Instead, it's time for the teenagers to head out. Leo's going to go out and hang out with the boys, or the guys, and they're going to do stuff.
And he'll be back later.
All
of this is done. All of this is expressed in a hilarious back and forth between Mimi Kennedy and Danny Masters.
Yes.
To establish that she's a bad mother.
Not even just a bad, like she's Joe. The reason she and Joe get along so well is because they want to inflict psychological harm on children. Like that's their bonding. That's why they hang. Because that's the only reason to have kids, am I right?
Yeah.
So
gotta get back at your parents by inflicting the same pain on your kids. Makes sense.
What are you gonna do? Read a book or something? Like you gotta fill your time with something. You watch PBS? Okay, so Amy's gonna go out too. She's gonna go over to Lisa's and she'll be home later. So we then cut to Amy and Leo in the living room.
Yes, I almost forgot about this because I was conflicted.
Now, it's also weird because I didn't believe this was going to come back. Because
yeah. Why would it?
Just like, this is just a cut subplot. Like, there's a whole cut subplot.
Actually, the way it does kind of come around is, I might say, the cleverest thing in the episode.
Yes.
In the whole series.
In the whole series. I was going to say, in the history of Joe's life. And it's not even because of the eventual punchline. It's just because of the first punchline. We'll get to it. But yeah, so Leo is saying, Amy, are you really going over to your friends, or are you going to go hang out with that fucker Brian Thompson? And she's like, shut up, Leo. And
Leo describes him as, that guy is slime. And I've made little like side-eye fit drawing next to that.
Right. We have the convicted serial rapist, and then our other guest stars. It's it's just great. It's great. Men fail up, don't forget. So yeah, but I was thinking the same thing, which is discourteous to the episode in some ways, I guess. But anyway, moving on. She's like, leave me the fuck alone. I don't care what you think. To which Leo goes, well, I forbid you to leave. And she looks at him weird and starts leaving. He's like, you're grounded. And I'm like, this would have been funny if we'd started it in episode 1 and it had been something they used to do when they were even younger, and Leo does it to embarrass her now because they're closer to the same age.
And he does it to her in school, and he does it
at the restaurant. Like, it could have been a funny bit, but the show sucks. Okay. Then the parents just come in. They didn't hear any of this. Which is weird, since we've had whole episodes where the only way Scotty, Jean, or Paulie communicate with anyone in the house is by calling into the house from upstairs, which goes into the living room, and people hear them in the kitchen. Watch your fucking show, people. Sorry. Some dignity. But yeah, so Scotty, Jean, and Paul are going to go upstairs and watch the Twilight Zone marathon. This is nothing. It should be there should be a pig mask scene, like a joke where Scotty Jean is running around.
But there really was I don't know if it was on Thanksgiving, but there really was a Twilight Zone marathon.
And it was on Thanksgiving.
Okay. Yeah. Good. So, I knew that was a thing. That's what I thought you were talking about. I was like, no, that was a thing, I swear.
Yeah. It's a pop culture marathon. It's a pop culture reference. Like, Now it's time to start the traditional Gennaro Thanksgiving. They sit down to watch football, cut ahead to Stan asleep, Barb asleep, Joe excited about the game, Sandy throwing snacks at Joe because she's annoyed that he's watching football.
And she's bored.
It's
been established that she does not give a shit about sports ball.
Good thing she's DTF. Okay. So there's this weird moment where she storms off and is like, fine, just watch the game by yourself. And he's like, fine, I will. And then he's like, fine, I'll come in and ask you what's going on. And he gets up and he goes in to talk to her because, he's a sensitive 90s man with his tucked in shirt. And she's like, Joe, when's the last time you had a night off and I wasn't tired? And I'm like, they're going to fuck? What's going on? Nope. She wants to go to the movies.
Yeah.
And she's like, there's this weird joke about how the last time they had a night like this, the Bee Gees were playing on 8-track.
Yeah.
She should have been like, that's right, Joe. I was 13 when you started dating me. This is weird all of a sudden. Amy's going out with her dad's best employee too.
Oh.
So yeah, weird reference given Mary Page Keller's age. Like, weird. Or maybe Joe's supposed to be in his 30s too.
And it's funny because that could possibly be, but I read it as that they fucked to Bee Gees music. Like,
in a car, because 8-track were there?
No, did they say 8-track specifically?
They said 8-track.
Okay.
They can fuck the Bee Gees music. That's fine. That's personality. I imagine they did fuck to Olivia Newton-John.
Don't try to convince me that Joe, whatever his last name, Gennaro, has a personality.
They were fucking to physical. 100%. 100% they were fucking to physical.
That just sounds like comedy to me. Who would fuck to that song? Whatever.
These two people. Joe. What am I saying? Joe wouldn't like listen to lady singers in any context.
No.
Oh, because he's terrible. Because he's not as cool as John Travolta from Staying Alive. Okay, moving on. Oh God, that's a terrible thought too. Can we really leave Stan and Barb here to watch Paulie and Scotty Jean, who are upstairs?
It's more of an empathy thing. It's maybe they want to go do something.
Well, but
it's Sandy's, not. Can we trust them to do that?
Right? No, it's Sandy. Like, why should we stick them with that? And
yeah,
Sandy also made the comment, Leo and Amy got to leave. Why don't I?
It's not fair.
And I'm like, yeah, this sounds like a terrible Thanksgiving. Like that these are the miserable Thanksgivings of their childhood, repeated for these two women who have become their possessions and their associated children.
Yeah,
like it's not cute. It's very sad. It's like endemic of. It's like.
But anytime a grown adult makes the argument, that's not fair, that just pisses me off. so it
bad.
Pisses me off so much.
Okay. Barb comes in and gets a beer, I hope, and is like, hey, you can fucking go. Like, I gotta rotate unconscious Stan every 15 minutes. I'm like, that's not unfunny, but you would have needed to cook a turkey in the episode for it to make any sense. Like, yeah. But whoever wrote that one joke, I'm sorry, whatever the rest of you had in mind for the episode didn't make it in here. Okay. We then cut to the Sunset Five. I might try to make you a poster of this amazing art of the movie theater.
Yeah, it was gorgeous.
It was gorgeous. There are movie posters in there. We talked about that last time. Would there be movie posters? There are some. They do not refer to the movie they're seeing by title, though, and they don't seem to be seeing the movies. One of them's like a silly looking jet pilot thing. It's like called Jet Pilot or something.
I didn't pay that close of attention.
And then, well, the copy's not great, so it's not worth looking. But then there's another one that appears to be part 2 of like a vaguely religious epic. Like it's like the Mormon history story part 2 or something. Like it could very well be that, but they're shitty posters. Okay. So they're at the movies, and this is where we find out that
Joe hates his wife, Sandy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He hates going into public with Sandy, and he wishes she just wanted to fuck when he's not tired. So, or working on his car. We lost that subplot.
Yeah.
So then there is there's Joe comes over to her in line and is like, I found us a seat. I didn't make a list, but I found us a seat. No people with babies, no people with big hair, no people who talk, no people who do this. And Joe's like, yes, I found us a seat near the mute bald jockeys on Weight Watchers. And I was just like, that's
it's getting ableist. But then, Sandy has to tag it with, they're not wearing hats, are they? My second point is theater concerns. These are almost all things I take into account when I'm looking for a place to sit at a movie theater.
Oh, I didn't realize this was.
It's representative.
Wow. Okay.
You
also need to get your popcorn, snow caps, and extra fizzy orange soda with ice?
Orange soda and snow caps? That sounds disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
But that's what Sandy needs to watch her movie show, to which Joe responds, I'm so glad our first date wasn't a movie.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
They might not have
Win-win for
gotten
the
married.
both of them. These are people that like you would get caught watching. Like there should be just people watching them in the theater. Like a couple, if a couple were doing this in the theater, you just be like, this is fucked up. We should watch this before we go in to our Meryl Streep movie. Oops, spoiler. Okay. Hashtag passive.
She's trying to get ahead in the line, and she makes Joe take
there's a
another
really
line.
dumb
They
line.
kind of have a sweet moment. I don't know.
You thought it was sweet?
It's like, oh, well, I'm so glad we get to spend some time together. And then she's like, that line's moving, go, go, go. And he goes and he's like, yeah, great spending time with you from, 12 feet away.
Yeah. I mean, are you there for the popcorn? Or are you there for, movie's not a date to spend time with somebody with.
No, because you don't talk to them. I mean, you have to sit in a fucking dark room.
Yeah.
I guess you can grope them if you're.
Well, let's get to the next plot point. Segue.
The actual plot.
The actual plot. Sandy says, Joe, come here. And Joe's like, but my line just moved. And she's like, get over here. This is more important than Mama's snow caps. Look at that girl. Joe looks off screen and is like, she looks like a whore.
Who would let their child out dressed like that?
That's Amy. And then she's like, look again, Joe. And he's like, how did Amy's head get on that whore's body? And she's like, no, Joe, that's Amy, our daughter.
And you see her, and she's definitely not dressed. She did not dress that way for Thanksgiving dinner.
No.
But it looks like a 15-year-old. It does not look like an adult woman, as Joe is seemingly suggesting.
No.
It looks like a 15-year-old body.
Yeah.
Sorry, Joe.
It's a kid, possibly wearing something their parents don't know about, but it is a kid.
Yeah.
Who went to Hot Topic.
And then she's all gussied up, and I think Mary Page Keller says something like, she wasn't wearing that bustier at dinner or something. And I was like, holy shit, is she wearing a bustier? She's in 1993, I was too young to even know what a bustier was, except for seeing it probably in like newspaper ads. But it didn't look like a bustier to me. Maybe because it's on a 15-year-old and there's nothing to boost. I don't know. I was concerned just because it didn't look like a bustier to me.
Okay. So what are they going to do about it?
She's there with a boy. Did we mention there?
We didn't.
Okay.
She's just leaning up against the wall dressed like that. It's actually a really weird episode. They spent the whole episode trying to figure out what she's doing. Okay. No.
Boy. And that's what Mom is concerned. Yes.
And yes. So they go in for the movie. They're going to the same movie. Joe storms over. Who's the boy? We'll find out from his dental record information. But then Sandy pushes him out. We're never going to go into the theater. We spent way too much time on this theater lobby set. Okay. So come out into the theater lobby. Joe's like, we're going to drag them out of here. We're going to storm in there and drag them out of here. And that's the end of it. And Sandy's like, but if we do that, she'll resent us. And Joe's like, that's what I'm into, storming and resenting. But Sandy's like, hold on. I think this is the first time she's done it.
Yeah.
Because there's still a price tag on the bustier.
Yes, that's what it was. That's the line. Yes.
So they're going to see how she reacts. They're going to watch to see if the boy is appropriate. And then they're going to watch to see how
Amy handles it.
If he is not appropriate. And then if she is in a situation where he tries to force himself on her, they're there to stop him.
Yes.
It's the best possible first date for Amy, is basically what Sandy says, because they get to be there to intercede.
This coming from a woman who wants to be groped by her nephew and his friends. Yes. So I think she probably knows how to handle herself in this area.
So, Joe's a little worried though. What if she's the one who initiates the physical contact? So we'll get to that later.
Did I start recording when you were talking about young girls having libidos? teenage girls having libidos. I'm sorry. And that being okay.
I don't know. How are you editing this?
I'm editing it to make you look the worst you can possibly look.
Yes. No, we missed the thing where we were talking about the dead spousal abuser working on In Living Color and not having a very impressive career and probably not being very funny and having a lot of problematic jokes. But then it turned out he was a piece of shit. So moving on. Joe's line is, "Oh, good, we get to go see this tearjerker so I can watch a mini mook paw my daughter. What a sucky date. He could have been home watching the game." Okay, commercials. Back to the theater, back into the lobby. Not going to see any of the movie. We're not doing a theater set. They weren't allowed to borrow somebody's theater set.
No.
Which is always too bad because I love how there's always 2 rows of seats in sitcom theater sets.
Yeah.
Okay. So now Joe's upset because nothing's happening.
Yes.
And he's like, it's like watching a frog and a fly just sitting there, and then bada boom, the fly's gone and the frog's bragging to his buddies at the mall.
Yeah.
So Sandy's like, all right, you need to chill out, go to the bathroom.
So what he's saying is he actually wants to watch the kid rape his daughter?
He wants something to happen so
he can be reactive. Yeah.
Yes.
He doesn't have to deal with his emotions. He can just get it out in his physical. Yeah.
Well, also that, yes, there is a concern for the daughter's safety, but this is also really intrusive of Joe, of the parents.
Both of them,
because they are removing her. They're spying on her. They're removing her ability to have any agency. So that's, but it's okay. It's not like they're going to manipulate. Oh, wait, hold on. Actually, we're over.
Have we even cut back to the living room yet?
No, we haven't even got to the first gaslighting. Okay, so Joe goes to the bathroom. I'm like, they're not doing a fucking scene with Joe and the kid in the bathroom. They're doing a scene with Joe and the kid in the bathroom.
Yeah, I was pretty uncomfortable with that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like going to the bathroom with people. I've never been the type of person to like, hey, let's all go to the bathroom.
If guy like Peter Onorati starts talking to you when you are in a bathroom and you are a 15-year-old boy, you start screaming.
Yes.
You start screaming rape.
Yes.
Frankly, until somebody comes in there and tells him to go away.
Yes.
Because it's not an appropriate social interaction.
No.
Like they're
not like both using a urinal. They're just at the sink. But it's
that would be even more inappropriate.
But it is still incredibly inappropriate.
It's incredibly inappropriate. Yeah. They don't know each other. It's fucking uncomfortable and weird. But then the kid is there like fixing his mullet and like getting all pretty in his Letterman jacket.
Is this our special guest star, James Marsden?
It is our special guest star, James Marsden. We were looking forward to him being problematic and acting poorly this episode, but instead
we got Jason Marsden, completely different person, not related, but a recognizable face on 90s sitcoms.
Yes.
For sure. I was really disappointed about that. I'm sorry to like step in the middle of your thing, but I thought it was a good time to bring it up.
Because I was like, you were going to bring it up with the mullet number 2 later on. Somebody has to sweep up popcorn. I'm like peering at the screen. Is that James Marsden? What the hell is going on? Okay. But no, Jason Marsden. He and Joe make fun of chick flicks, but the kids
they're bonding in the bathroom. That's cute.
You can bonding over your shared hatred of women is actually really effective for turning young white men into Nazis, it turns out. So we knew how Joe voted, but we didn't know that he was spreading those ideas to the youth. Okay, so the kid's like, but it's all right, because when somebody starts dying, those ladies like to snuggle up.
Yeah, they get clingy and needy.
So
Which I feel like in a more of a official relationship capacity, being clingy and needy would be something he would be bitching about. I don't know. I don't know this kid.
no, he talks about the blonde one with the weird accent in the movie, and Joe's like, "You mean Meryl Streep?" And I was like, "What movie do they? What do they say? What movie are they saying they're watching? It's 1993.
Three.
Is this, wasn't she like fucking Dutch and out of Africa? Is this an out of Africa reference? Like that? I don't get it. It's like a weird. Did Meryl Streep turn ABC down for something? This was when she was trying to branch out and be accessible with like Death Becomes Her was 92.
Yeah.
Like she was the People's Academy Award winner at this point. Like she was about to do Bridges of Madison County in a couple years. Like she was not some, she wasn't Tilda Swinton or something at this point. Like, okay. But anyway, the kid, sure, he's at least going to get to second base thanks to this movie. To which Joe starts making striking gestures that we see, but the kid does not. Then they're done. But it's weird when they leave because the kid's like, well, I'm done in here, dude, so I'm not going to talk to you anymore. And it's like, yes, get the fuck out of here, you 45-year-old, you Republican state senator. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like the honorable Mr. Gennaro from representing New Jersey. Get the fuck out of here. No means no, Peter Honorati. Sorry, dude. I know you're okay, but still, Joe's a fucking Republican. He's a piece of shit. Maybe Rona got him. Okay. So then Rona got Stan. Rona probably got Barb too. Barb might have gotten Stan before this. We'll discuss the sequel spinoff next time. Okay. But what do they do now? So he leaves and he's like, it's cool because we're to the point where Meryl Streep's going to be fucking coughing up blood now too. I'm going to get it. Oh, yeah. Also the kid sprays his breath. Showcasing. That is the sign.
That's the sign of a 90s male rapist. That and a toothpick. If he's got a toothpick in his mouth.
Toothpick started in the 80s, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but the Naka would have been the
90s. Michigan.
So Joe's like, you're going to know what it's like to cough up blood too, punk.
Yeah.
Now is when we cut to the fucking house. Oh, my God.
God, that was long.
Yes, because it's a scene with a grown man and a child in a bathroom. It's inappropriate. Like,
it's really uncomfortable.
Don't talk to young people. What is wrong with you?
I would love it if there was some story about them shooting this scene and having like another actor in the show just walk in and like put their hand up on the wall and like unzip their pants and start pissing in a urinal. I think that would be really funny, just as like an outtake. You have Stan coming in like, hey guys, and then he just like,
that's from a better show.
Yeah,
that's from a much better show.
Sorry, cut back to the house. Barb is still watching football while Stan is sleeping.
Stan's snoring. She changes it to PBS and classical music and it wakes him up. He's like, man, I was watching that. Turn it back, woman. So she turns it back.
And he falls asleep again.
He falls back asleep. So, one note, there's an NES in this scene, which I thought was interesting.
Oh, is there?
Product placement on top of the TV. There's an old NES. All right. Here we go. The downfall of Mimi Kennedy.
Yeah.
What she can't do is she can't emotionally abuse a little kid and get away with it. So Scotty Jean comes down and is like, Aunt Barb, I'm fucking bored. I don't want to watch Twilight Zone. And Aunt Barb's like, you can come down here and Uncle Stan he's like, I'm dying of boredom. Well, come on down here and Uncle Stan will
finish you off. Yeah.
I was like, okay. They're going to have a scene. It's going to be funny.
Yeah, it could be. It could have been.
You want to play a game, Aunt Barb? Yeah. Let's play Chutes and Ladders. It's over in the closet. Okay. But I'm a sore loser, says Barb, To which Scotty Jean goes, oh, I know. To which Aunt Barb gives him a little bit of a look like, you're not supposed to acknowledge that I'm a sore loser, you little fucking kid.
Yeah. Can we go backwards really quickly?
Yes,
because when Scott first comes down, he says, are we going to glue hair to Uncle Stan's head again? And that got me thinking, oh my God, they're going to start pulling pranks on Stan while he's sleeping. This is going to be so fun. Yep. Like, I was so excited for that.
Nope.
And not only did it not happen and they played a board game instead, but that didn't even happen.
No.
Because
bring
it back to where you left off.
Okay. Barb opens the closet to get out the board game and sees how neat it is, to which she says, this is when toilet training goes hideously wrong because it's neat.
Gotta pit women against each other.
Yep. Joe could be given Joe tucking his shirt in, I think Joe probably organizes the closet. I'm just saying. Anyway, but Barb finds a present for her. Merry Christmas, Barb. Christmas is a month away. It's Thanksgiving. She's like, wait, I've got an idea, Scott. And I'm like, what the fuck idea could you possibly have from this? This isn't a plot point. Let's get out the game. Let's get on with the fucking scene. Let's play a much better game. I'm going to guess a number from 1 to 10. If you guess the right number, you get to stay up all night. If you guess the wrong number, you have to go to bed right now. He guesses wrong. He never wins at that game when he plays it with Aunt Barb. Up the stairs he goes with his rat tail. Barb gets out a couple presents from the closet, tries to wake Stan up, can't. So she turns this channel, which wakes him up, or she turns off the TV, and she's like, Stan, look, it's our Christmas presents. And he's like, Christmas presents? How long have I been asleep?
Waka waka.
What did they get us, Stan? You know it's important. Last year they got us nicer gifts. We've got to get the right gifts for them this year. Stan's like, you're not opening those presents. To which Barb says, she left them in the closet right where she knew I'd find them. What if we're not opening the presents? We'll just blame it on the kids. Boom.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's not only is it like, obviously in 2023 with that lens, with our current lens, through our current lens, it's problematic that she gaslit the baby boy, Scotty, and that she's also so immature that she needs to open these presents, and that it's like a keeping up with the Joneses thing. Well, they always get us better gifts, so we need to know what we're up against. And it's like, why is this a conversation? Why is this even happening? You know, if you're such a bad gift giver, you can just like say, hey, don't get me anything this year. We're not getting you anything. You can just like, there are ways you can get around this, even with your family.
Yeah, you could do something. It's not going to resolve with the presents being fucking stupid, is it, Emily?
But beyond that, it's not funny.
No, it's not.
In 1993, this wasn't funny. The whole idea of adults, like if it was a kid finding presents.
You need to turn my face right now into an animated sticker because this is the show.
It would just look like I was making fun of people.
No, this is what this show is. It's so fucking terrible.
Yeah.
But wait, we're about to get to a weird highlight. Okay. Cut to the movie theater. Sandy has pushed Joe back into our lobby set. This is, I believe, where we get some good looks at those movie posters. If you want to go,
if I want to rewatch it, okay.
When you rewatch it, after Criterion restores it and is streaming it on the Criterion channel, which is like not impossible.
Girls. Like show,
not impossible. Yeah, I mean, it's not impossible in this era of. Speaking of keeping up with the Joneses, okay, so. Sandy's like, Joe, you're growling. And Joe's like, oh, it wasn't that bad. And she's like, you're about to bark. And she's like, oh, I knew this kid. He's dangerous. I used to be this kid.
That's the whole thing. Like, the whole time I was like, Joe knows what's going on because Joe has done this before.
But Joe didn't do this to Sandy because they didn't go to a movie theater because she wasn't
old enough to get into the movie.
She wasn't old enough to get it. given when they supposedly started dating, by the way, PG-13 didn't exist yet. So
Oh, okay.
she was 12 is what we're saying. She was 12 and he was 17 and he had a car. We'll do the math at the end of next episode just to see where we're at, folks. Okay, so I used to be that kid, but then they have to run off because Amy and the dude are coming out. So they hide behind the movie poster kiosk.
Yeah.
Amy's like, look, not James Marsden, you need to chill out. And not James Marsden's like, hey now, what do you mean I need to chill out? Look at you. And Amy's like, I'm not like that. And she's like, well, what's with your outfit?
Yeah.
You can't feel good about the way you look in that. Like, that's for my male consumption. That's not a nun's outfit.
Yes, he does compare it to a nun's outfit.
You can't look like that and say no. And to which Amy says, you know what, shithead, someday I'm going to be saying yes to real James Marsden, and you're still going to be a jerk. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
And that's it. She's out of there. And he's yelling at her.
I wanted to stand up and clap because 1993, way to go,
1993,
Amy.
Way to go, Amy.
But then I also wanted her to hit him. I would have been much happier if she just would have decked him. But I guess you can't show violence on TV. Yeah.
Right in the nuts.
Yeah. Oof, I would have loved it. My second thought was, did Danny Masterson get in the writer's room?
No, the writers of this show probably took Danny Masterson to strip clubs, in reality. That's the male executive producers of this show probably enabled Danny Masterson to live out a teenage boy's perverse ideas of what his dreams should be while potentially grooming him. So it all sucks, basically. Yeah. Yep. All of it sucks. Burnham, this is why we want to do the world eradication. Was that in the episode? When were we talking about that? When we push the button and everybody gets destroyed.
Recently. I don't remember.
I don't remember the context.
My short-term memory is
funny. It's gone. All right. So
I know that we were just wishing that she had slapped him.
Yes. But she did not. She went off. Power move. He yells after her. Then he goes to try to pick up on some other girl while Joe and Sandy are discussing whether or not they're going to confront him. Sandy's like, no, Joe, you can't actually beat up children.
Yeah.
Joe's like, it's New Jersey and I'm white. I can fucking beat up children. And she's like, Joe.
But the kid was white too.
But the kid is white too, Joe. You can't do that. This is when Liam Neeson goes out to try to find a black kid to kill. By the way.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, moving on. At least he admitted to it, right? He got in front of that one, like the time Michael Douglas was like, my oldest sister's going to try to say I tried to rape her a bunch, but I really didn't. Oh, she never came out and said that? This is awkward.
Oh, God.
Headline.com. R.I.P. Nikki Finks tenure. Okay, back to the show. Where the fuck are we? Okay, Apple Notes is not I can't do Apple Notes anymore. This is not work.
So we are, Joe can't beat up the boy. He tries to hit on the other girl and she walks away.
I'm like, is her date James Marsden? Is she going to walk over to James Marsden? No. But then Jason Marsden goes to re-enter the movie theater to finish watching the Meryl Streep movie.
The chick flick that he said he hated.
Yep.
And only was in it for the fawning women.
Yep. He gets hit in the nose with the door and he falls down and Joe's life peaked. That's it.
Probably the funniest thing I've seen. I love a good, pratfall.
Pratfall. It's a good comeuppance. Who did it? I'm like, who could have done it? Was it her friend? Was it it's like a fucking, for 2 seconds, it's, Agatha Christie. But no, it was Leo. Leo followed them to the theater and was waiting in back too. He gave up his night with the guys.
Yeah.
It would have been funnier if he had just happened to be there too. That was he and his boys were going to do.
Yeah.
They were going to go see a tearjerker.
But then they would have been making such a racket that Joe and Sandy would have noticed them and they would have started beating off to Sandy in the back of the theater.
Well, I was actually going to say the joke is that they were just sensitive fellas who wanted to see
No.
this melodrama, this Sidney Pollack directed melodrama. But then I was like, no, they were on a date with like Sandy's friend that they made at the party. Like one of her like gross fucking friends is out with like 4 teenage boys, like New Jersey. Okay. But no, Leo followed because he's like, look, dude, I told you last week to stay away from my cousin.
Yeah.
You didn't listen. This is what happens. And the guy's like, did you follow us here to do this? He's like, yes, I did. And Joe and Sandy overhear all of it. And Joe's like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then Leo walks away and steps on the guy's hand. He's like, ooh.
In like the worst directed fucking shot ever.
Yes,
like
yes.
They're doing these weird inserts of Danny Masterson because even though this is like Leo's best moment in the series, right, as a character, Danny Masterson still is a terrible actor.
He's not good. He's
terribly directed show.
Yeah.
So you've got incompetent direction, then trying to get Danny Masterson to sell this, and he's like, I don't understand why I'm doing it. He was just, exercising his rights as a man. I can't connect with this scene. You didn't tell me this was what it was about. I'm morally opposed. My sincerely held religious beliefs are against this scene. Xenu says I get to do this. So
Xeno's a bad guy. Xeno's a bad guy. They don't think Xeno's a good guy. They know he's a bad guy. Sorry.
Who's the good guy? Okay, Johnny Goodboy told me to do this.
Johnny Goodboy. I call my husband that.
Okay.
Don't read Battlefield Earth, folks. Don't see the movie. Stay away.
It's 1,000 pages, I hear. Okay. So, rapist Danny Masterson is also a Scientologist.
Yes.
That's not to say that only Scientology protects its rapists. Actually, it turns out all religions, basically what a religion does is protect its rapists, is actually what religions seem to be for. People in authority more than even their church members.
Yeah, but the Catholic Church might.
Catholic Church does.
Has their own PR department. Has their own PR department.
Yeah. The Southern Baptist Convention had.
Do they have a PR department?
I don't know.
Like officially, like Scientology and the Catholic Church have literal PR departments.
Because they try to say that they're not connected, but then they're like, but you ran a report to see how many of your members were rapists, and it was lots, and you tried to hide it. So this is why you have a church. It's what you do.
It's one of the many things you do.
And potlucks. Okay, moving on. Scientology potlucks. What the fuck are Scientology potlucks like? Inquiring minds want to know. Moving on to Leo leaves. Joe is like, fuck yeah, Leo. They go back into the movie. They've not acknowledged to this kid that they know anything of that they're Amy's parents.
Yeah.
So instead, they're just like, hey, fuck you, kid. You should have let me pick you up in that bathroom. Now I'm glad this happened. Okay. And then they go in and Sandy's like, Joe, don't be so crass, like we're not going to glorify violence. And then she looks out and she's like, hell yeah, Leo. Yeah. And then she goes in. Yeah. Okay. We cut to the house where now Stan and Barb are trying on their presents, which are ugly fucking early 90s sweaters.
Long. They look like mohair. But like probably cheap mohair, like
terrible.
They're terrible.
They are like fucking like no.
There's not really a great way to describe it if you didn't live through the 90s.
But these are like
pastelly mix pattern sort. I can't quite describe it.
These sweaters, if they still exist today, are in secondhand shops and people buy them as terrible sweater gifts.
Yeah.
Like they're really bad. Okay, but they're so nice. We're not going to get them anything this nice. What are we going to do?
Literally buy them a gift card. That's better. I would take
1993,
money.
There wasn't a gift card system.
But there were gift certificates to their favorite local restaurant that they don't own.
Barb just getting him a bunch of booze. That's
Anything would be better than these sweaters, is my point.
Stan could have been like, "Hey, I got you a present. I, paid your half of the power bill this month, little brother."
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, Stan doesn't like his present, so we got to make fun of him being overweight. Barb's like, "We got to get him something nice, or we're going to be so embarrassed." And then, not even time for a beat later, she goes, "We'll get over it."
Yeah, the character's terrible.
Yeah. So then they hear a car pull up because even though they knew they were going to a fucking movie, they probably knew which fucking movie.
And Joe and Sandy went back and actually finished watching the movie. So it's not like they're coming home early.
No, they're not coming home early. Barb's also bad at time. Okay.
So they rush, they take their sweaters off. Stan has a moment where he can't get out of his. Ha ha, fat. Bleh.
They throw it in the closet, and then they close the closet, and presumably they'd blame that on the couch. But no, they're all ruffled when they sit down on the couch. They just get down on the couch, and in come Joe and Sandy, and they're like, "Hey, you were getting it on the couch, right?
You were making out
a lot.
You were making out," which I understand it's network television. They couldn't go straight to the fucking. It looked like more than just making. I mean, besides the fact that they were clothed, right?
Yes, because their hair's they're like fixing their hair and they're beat red and breathing.
Yeah.
But there's also a line about, "We know what it's like when the babysitter, the kids are up sleeping, the babysitter invites the boyfriend over," and you're just like, from when Sandy was a 13-year-old babysitter and you were her 24-year-old boyfriend? Is that when you know that from?
Do you leave a basket of condoms out for them at least? Is this something that you encounter before? Do you have other teenagers coming over to babysit your...
No, because we established early that
sex
Amy
on the couch
is the unpaid babysitter.
Maybe Amy brings home boys and fucks on the couch. I don't know. This isn't that show. Thank God.
This isn't Euphoria.
I've never seen.
I haven't either, but that's what it's about.
Fucking on couches? Cool.
Rich teenagers fucking on couches. So there'd have to, this is like Jersey Shore Euphoria. Okay. Moving on. If Danny Masterson hadn't gone to prison, he might have executive produced that show with his good friend Ashton Kutcher. Okay. Moving on to, they're going to leave. Barb and Stan are going to leave. So Barb goes, "No, I'll get your coats out." "No, I'll go." So Barb goes to the closet, and
they're watching her.
They're watching her, so she needs
in a weird way, but
yes, because she's acting weird, and they're looking to see if like her panties are on or something. And she's like, and Stan's like, "Oh, I've got a Charlie horse." So they turn and look. She gets into the closet, gets the shit, runs out. No doubt this will be a return. We'll get some resolution to this other than this setup again, because that's how you tell the joke is you just keep doing setups.
You keep dangling.
Yes. Okay. So is Amy home yet? No, she's not. Okay. Boom. She goes. Before they go, Joe says to Stan, "Hey, Leo, he's a great kid." And Stan goes, "Really?"
Yeah.
And Joe's like, "Yeah." And Stan's like, "Huh, okay." And then he leaves because he's like, "Dude, I'm pretty sure I've already covered up like 3 rapes, like just based on the time. I'm a showbiz parent. Like, who am I playing here? Like, it was bad." "I don't think so, Joe. I think less of you for that statement." So then
they have a discussion, which struck
Joe
me
and
off.
Sandy.
Yeah, which struck me as not odd. Joe wants to confront Amy.
Yes.
"We saw you. You lied to us.
Yes.
You could have gotten in trouble, and I own you. You have to ask my permission.
Yep.
He has to ask my permission to fuck you, and I have to be able to watch."
It is unnatural that we do not punish her. We are her parents.
Yes.
What are the perks if we don't get to do this? And Sandy's like, "I am going to handle this. Chill the fuck out."
Oh, and not that she handles it any better.
Oh, yes. So in comes Amy in her regular clothes.
In her civvies.
The bustier is gone. And Sandy's like, "Amy, come here. your father and I, this Thanksgiving, we're thinking about what we've been thankful for. And I'm like, bullshit, first of all. Like, how long have you had that in your pocket as a manipulation technique?
Yeah.
It was on Oprah. Oprah's like, you should, be thankful with your family this Thanksgiving. And Sandy's like, I could use that to fucking manipulate my daughter. So they tell Amy how happy they are and thankful they are to have an honest, straightforward girl like Amy who would never lie like other kids, never pull stuff like other kids. They can trust her.
And Amy grows increasingly uncomfortable before essentially running up the stairs, feeling terrible about herself because she went out and did something she wanted to do without asking for permission that she knows she would not have been granted.
Joe then turns to Sandy and says, that was so cool. And they high five, I believe.
Yes, I put guilt trip high five. That was my last note. And yeah. And my only note since grown men chatting with teen boys in the John. So I didn't write Joe's a lot of notes.
Oh, God. Joe's Life playsets.
Oh, dear
Just
God.
Weird, like, office art, like, decor. Like, one with him talking to a teenage boy in the bathroom, something from one of the previous episodes.
George Coe, collector's item.
Yeah. This is the scene in the mall, Joe in the mall, little lead figurines that give you cancer, kind of like watching the show.
Oh no, not again.
I'm going to do a trademark search on Joe's Life and see if we can make these because, 3D printers are not far off. Okay. Moving, and then we're on, one of our Joe's Life dioramas is on the second season of episode 2 of Succession, The Next Generation, and you're like, what show?
Yeah.
And I was like, Jesus Christ. I didn't watch Succession either. I don't give a shit. But no.
Rich people are awful.
Rich people are, it's well acted. Prestige television. Okay. But no, speaking of unprestige, let's cut to the credits sequence.
Jesus Christ.
Which is Ray trying to sell his cranberry asparagus loaf on the Shopping Central mail order cranberry asparagus loaf, which we get a close-up of, and it is apparently some sort of a loaf with 2 asparagus and some liquid topping.
Yeah.
It does not look very good, but it also does not look like it would keep through the U.S. Postal Service.
No.
As he starts his spiel, the price is $14.95. Then it goes to $12.95. It goes to $9.95. I thought we were going to do a Morton and Hayes thing where it ended up with him selling them a dozen. But no, we're then cutting to the phone. Now, he's also doing this in the restaurant kitchen.
Yes, that's what I noticed. Because I was confused because I was like, is this like a goof, or is this supposed to be like a goof in the show, or is this supposed to be like he's really on the Home Shopping Network or whatever doing
they
this?
Just think they're funny is what it is. The show is like, we are some funny mofos.
I'm so sorry.
We are going to do this scene. We are so funny.
It's not funny. Okay. So yeah, it's the poor son of a bitch has to go through this whole thing. Like you said, the price keeps getting lower because he's not selling any. There's a little counter in the bottom corner, and the phone rings. The phones aren't ringing, but he's like, "Oh, are these phones working?"
To which he then says, "Come on, everybody, call in. It's my grandmother's recipe."
Oh yes, thank you. Phone rings.
Pick
Grandma?
Up. Apple? Where did I get asparagus from? So yeah, one more of these excellent shows to go.
One more episode,
and this one is probably the third best. Maybe, I mean, it's third or fourth best. There aren't a lot of George Coe's number 1, then that other one that wasn't terrible, then either this or some other one that I've forgotten. But yeah, this is a really, really bad show, but it did not It didn't shame the idea that Amy would be enthusiastically heterosexual at some point, which hey, props.
So
she can grow up and date her nephews.
So next episode, oh my god, oh, the pun names on this are so bad.
Hold on.
Yeah.
There were 11 episodes, but we only have 10 to watch. Are you sure this is the one we're going to watch?
Oh shit, I'm not sure. Thank you.
We need to make sure of that too.
Oh, I think I have to log in. You might have to look. I got logged out somehow.
You might have to cut this part of the episode.
I will.
Captain Flag. You'll be sorry.
Okay, that is the next episode. Episode 10.
That's right. They didn't air the Halloween one. That's
yeah. It's Halloween. So this is in order of holidays. So you'll be sorry. You'll be sorry. It's Christmas. A Leo heavy episode. And Leo brings home a 21-year-old girl with a baby, is the description on IMDb.
How old's Leo? 16 or 17?
17, I think. I think it was established in the first or second episode, 17.
I mean,
it's going to be bad, folks.
It's going to be bad.
It's going to be bad.
I'm probably going to say things that are
a lot of negativity towards single mothers.
Oh, so much negativity towards single mothers.
While it won't even be close to being okay for Amy to go out on a date with a boy.
Well, because that's what's gonna happen.
Leo's not even gonna get shit at all for presumably having sex with this woman.
We're gonna get a line about this is what could happen to Amy. God, I hope we get a line. Come on, Joe's life. Oh, come on, give me that.
Give me that one thing. He needs it.
Earn that misogyny cookie. Earn it.
Oh dear God.
At one point, folks, if Hillary had won, there's a not zero chance I would have ironically titled something woke ribbons and ally cookies. But she didn't. So, because we don't actually live in a world where people want woke ribbons and ally cookies. We live in a world where people want to be racist and garbage. So anyway,
except for our listeners, our dear listeners
who would not be, if you were like that, our dear listeners, we'd have feedback, and we don't have feedback. So we assume you just leave when we say things like women are people, and don't be a piece of shit, and
Danny Masterson's a rapist.
Yeah, well, hey now. Convicted in a court of law.
Convicted in a court of law. It's not slander.
It's not slander. Not slander. His good friend Ashton Kutcher. No follow-up to that.
No follow-up. Nothing about
Ashton Kutcher's good friends with convicted rapist Danny Masterson.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Not gonna cancel that fella. Okay.
Lots of other reasons to cancel that fella, I'm sure. But
not if you're Ashton Kutcher. Zing! Okay, moving on to from the early 2000s sucked.
Joe's Life, You'll Be Sorry, episode 10.
I am sorry, Emily. I am sorry. Okay. Will you be sorry after I make next season's selection, which we will be unveiling next episode, along with doing math on Peter Onorati and Mary Page Keller again for our sequel prestige series. That is all about.
Sorry to anybody who started watching Cop Rock in anticipation. Andrew apparently
it's
that
not
was
over yet.
An idle threat.
I haven't decided yet. I had before this show. I had fond memories of Peter Onorati.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
so did your mom.
She did. My mom had fond memories of Peter Onorati in those jeans too.
I squeezed in a mom joke. That's great.
Oh yeah, no. My mom had fond memories of Peter Onorati. Oh yeah, are you kidding? That is. And he played football too. Oh God. Moving on.
Join
We're not
us.
Selecting shows just because my mom thought the dude was hot. Most of those shows lasted longer than one season. Yeah. Okay. But moving
they weren't only attractive, they had charisma and chemistry with other actors, unlike
Peter Onorati forgot he had that on Civil Wars. He was so cute.
But he didn't have it on this one.
No, he didn't. Yes. No, my mom did not. If she watched the first episode, she did not make it through to this part because
it's bad. It's
bad. Yes. Though I did remember the first episode. So there was that. I did have that weird, terrible Madeline moment with the first episode.
I'm so sorry.
Okay. You'll be sorry, Emily.
You'll be sorry.
Next time on Onesies.
See you then. Andrew, see you in Television Land.
See you in Television Land, Emily.